Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Olivet's meeting for August 26, 2025. Can we please have a roll call?
Mayor Clark,
Here.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Here.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Here.
Councilmember Pashan Hellman,
Here.
and Councilmember Lewis is absent with an excuse.
Okay, we're going to go on to item number 2, which is Bill number 3051. Please note we have moved the first reading and public hearing for Bill 3051 up in the agenda to accommodate the staff. Could we please have the title read?
Yes. Bill 3051, an ordinance to amend, no, I have the wrong thing. I have someone's agenda, sorry. I have everyone's agenda.
It's on the screen.
Thank you. An ordinance to amend Chapter 400 zoning regulations, being part of Title IV Land Use of the Olivet Municipal Code, enacting a new Article 23 entitled Tree Inventory, Protection, and Replacement. First reading and public hearing.
I'd like to open up our public hearing. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Carlos Trejo. I am the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Olivet. First, Mayor, I'd like to extend my appreciation for allowing me to go through first, as my beautiful wife and I are going to a concert this evening. So thank you for the accommodations. I do greatly appreciate it. I have a presentation prepared as a text amendment. It would amend our zoning regulations, which are Chapter 400. Specifically, it will add a new article, Roman numeral 23, which is tree inventory, protection, and replacement. The next slide will kind of go through, give you an overview. The council, by right, under the zoning regulations, has the ability to request the Plan Commission to prepare ordinances and regulations dealing with land use per section 40910. And for the PCDC to provide recommendations on those requests. So on March 5th, 2024, it's been well over a year, the council directed staff to draft regulations regarding preparing tree regulations as it relates to construction, especially residential construction. We researched local and regional regulations. We reviewed the Olivet Code of Regulations, policies, and planning documents, including our 2024 Comprehensive Plan update, which we had just adopted about a month prior to the council's request. And then we solicited and/or provided public input from residents, staff, developers, and various professionals through this process. On March 11th, 2025, a couple of months ago, the first segment of the regulations were forwarded to the council under Ordinance 2812, and that was phasing in submission requirements that we currently use and operate for the Plan Commission reviews for new single-family homes. So we added those we codified those items in our code to ensure that those are being submitted and provided for the commission's portion of the review. On the next slide, we'll go over when we do an analysis or provide a recommendation or draft a text regarding land use, we always use our comprehensive plan as our guiding tool in terms of looking at that to ensure that we're following the overall community's priorities and principles. And there are guiding principles for our 2024 comp plan update include, developing, enhancing our community, providing opportunities for diversity, encouraging sustainability, balancing our economy, creating affordability, being cognizant of that, and then to make sure that the community as a whole is connected and that there's a whole sense of place in there. And then you'll see some of our community goals in there about encouraging high quality housing, ensure reliable and efficient resources, high quality city services and facilities, proactively lead economic development, ensure all of that is welcoming, keep the community safe, promote healthy lifestyles, strengthen our environmental sustainability, and finally promote strategic redevelopment. So we take those values, those goals, and then we incorporate them as we're preparing the draft and recommendations, both for the commission to review and then forward the recommendation to the council that we're consistent with overall community values. The next slide, then we identified the audience. The audience for this ordinance as we were putting it together was, of course, the Planning and Community Design Commission and how they would be incorporated and enforced as part of the review process. We look at our department personnel, my planners, the inspectors, the code enforcement officers, make sure that they have an understanding and the ability and resources to be able to implement the regulations. We look at city personnel, what other opportunities are within our organization to help facilitate and improve the ordinance, public works, parks and recreation. We had a horticulturalist on staff. Then we also look at the development community, their property owners just as well in there. Then we look at the existing homeowners, the families, the sellers, the developers. And then we also have within that same environment, owner-occupied homes, vacant homes, derelict homes, vacant lots, subdivisions that are being created and demolitions that are going on. And this ordinance is going to kind of overlap and assist in the regulation of trying to protect some of those trees on those properties during the construction process. The next aspect of this ordinance looks at the components. So what we were trying to do is address construction impacts to trees during construction, specifically residential construction, was the guidance that we had from the council to ensure that we are cognizant of where the tree placements are and that we're doing, taking reasonable steps to be able to protect those, ensure that the replacement standards are uniform. So we're applying them equally throughout the process, whether it's replacement, inventory, or replantings. And then again, to further the goals of our 2024 comprehensive plan. Overview of the ordinance would be on the next slide. So it applies to all single-family demolitions. It applies to significant additions and accessory structures, significant being anything over 1,200 square feet. We require a site plan submission when it goes to our plan commission. And then this also applies to all new single-family homes. The process is a three-step process. We ask for the developer or the contractor to prepare an inventory of the existing tree stock. We enforce preservation standards in terms of during the construction process, and then we have a replacement policy of how they're any trees that are being removed, what are the criteria and requirements for replacement. The next slide. Quick overview. There's an inventory. In that inventory, it contains an arborist report. We standardize the process procedures, what we expect from the arborist. We provide a tree inventory plan, which is an existing site plan showing what is out there, what is what type of species are out there, what is the size of the species. And then we have a tree protection and replacement plan. They're submitting, in essence, it's somewhat of a landscape plan, but it also identifies how they're protecting and preserving the existing trees. Then we have our preservation standards, standards for the protection of these trees that they're going to be maintaining on the site, and then standards on how they have to maintain those preservation requirements throughout the construction. And then how do we, uniform policy in terms of what the replacement requirements are for those trees that they're being removed, whether they're the standards, the quantity, alternative, options if you prefer, or you can't plant sufficient trees, the type, how they should be planted, the installation, escrow requirements, warranty requirements, and then removal in there, in this case for 1 year. And then there's a catch for a variation to give the commission some flexibility for some unique circumstances where, the number of trees can't be replaced on the site for some reason in there. And usually most of our codes will have some process to allow a variation. In this case, the commission can't exceed more than 20% in there. The next slide. This went through the commission again back in March 2024. Bill 3051 was the most current draft that is before you, and the commission considered it at its meeting on Thursday, August 21st, and with a unanimous recommendation, wanted to forward this to the council for consideration. The next slide Thanks. Just a couple of things. I mean, we've been already in the practice of trying to enforce some of these standards and what they would look like. Here's a good one on the on Old Bonham where they had the tree protection zone with the signage, asking the contractors, who should usually subs, stop, think, understand what you're doing. The protection fencing, you can see a grouping of trees in the back area in the orange there, and then the little caution. This is a tree protection zone on the far right end of that slide. What this will do, it'll kind of uniform that so they're all the same in standard, both for the ease of enforcement and also for just the general public or the contractors to know what's going on. So we won't have all these different signs or different colors. We will have some uniform standards throughout that process. On the next slide, Mayor, if I may enter a couple of items to the record. One is our 2024 comprehensive plan. The staff presentation and memorandums to the Planning and Community Design Commission. The latest one dated August 21st, 25, which included various research and draft versions of this ordinance before you tonight. Ordinance 2812, which was adopted on March 11th, 2025 by the council. The public hearing notice and affidavit of publication that this was posted in the St. Louis County County on August 11th, 2025, 15 days ago. The Olivet Municipal Code and the zoning map, and then this presentation before the council dated August 26, 2025. Also, Mayor, I'd like to thank, we had a lot of public input. Some of the residents are here that they'll talk. I think the chairman allowed an opportunity to listen to a lot of the various perspectives of the community. We reached out with several developers to talk about these ordinance regulations and their applicability. We talked to a couple of arborists firms to kind of go over the drafts. And then we also had some information from the Missouri Department of Conservation that we've incorporated in this process. Couple of items as we presented this to the commission too is that we don't see that this is the end of looking at trees throughout the community. I think this is the first phase, dealing with the directive from the council about residential construction, the impact it was having on the trees. I think as you look at the 24 comprehensive plan update, that there will probably be more items that will be coming in place. And I think the commission was comfortable with that that this will probably not stop here, that we'll probably have more recommendations to the council down the road. So Mayor, I'd be glad to answer any specific questions.
Does anyone on the council have any questions at this time? Yes, we do have one. Go ahead, please.
So with this applying to just single family homes, was the directive from the council, and I apologize that I don't know this since I wasn't on the council at that time, to just do single family homes, and why not multifamily?
Good question. Yes, it was the council at that point was at especially the single family detached homes throughout that, which comprise about 63% of our land area. We do have a couple of multifamily districts, those that have recently developed or fall under the commercial standards in there, which has Chapter 428 in terms of re-landscaping. I would assume, however, we don't have the large landmass areas along the corridor for non-single family redevelopment. Now we had the Irvington Place, who would have thought that, the 24 homes would have been, voluntarily solicited and purchased at one time. So I do think, and the commission did discuss that we probably would be looking at some type of preservation policies when they come into place. Understand too, in a commercial process, there's several layers as they go through the review that gives us that advantage to things that we can do, whether they're codified or not, about tree preservation in there. So in this, using Irvington Place as an example, I mean, they had to go through a planning process, they had to go through a rezoning process, they had to go through then the final development process. So there are opportunities in there. The big I think overall, down the road is how you do more of an existing tree protection and how those standards would be put in place. And that this doesn't address, nor have we gotten to that step or gotten an idea of what we want to do yet.
Okay.
So
So
I hope that answers what you were looking for.
yeah, possible
Right.
future topic.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would assume.
I have a couple others.
Go ahead.
Okay. A, a very practical question, under the arborist report for replacement trees. It has canopy coverage listed, and I'm curious if this is the canopy coverage that's provided by the tree at the size, at its size when planted, or its size when full grown.
It would be I think we'll need some clarification in there of whether that is the final or initial.
Okay,
We can look at that in terms of when we put like they will get an additional packet of information. We can clarify that. I think the ordinances we were looking at what is that, not the maximum size, but what is the matured size once that tree grows? So what that coverage would be is what we saw in others, not at the time of planting. That we would be looking at the minimum standard. And I think right now it's a 2-inch caliper in there. So it's not looking at the canopy as a whole in there. It does get pretty complex because of the various species and all that. But I think the intent here is what is a matured size going to be taking at that point.
okay. And then in the protection requirements for the tree protection zone, I don't see that there's any type of sign that's required for that area. And just looking at the images that you provided, having that sign, I think is really helpful if, especially for the subs of the subcontractors who it might not register to them that a green fence means tree protection.
Okay.
And then a general question about the tree replacement process. Is the tree replacement quantity standard for each lot regardless of the number of trees removed?
Correct. These would be the expectations. So one of the questions that was posed, like if the lot was completely vacant and there was no trees taken out, the expectation is they would be providing trees even though they were not taken out.
Okay.
So we would be looking at this now. There could be a property that has more than an abundance of what the minimum criteria is. It would not restrict them from adding more, but there are some means that we would count, some of the existing ones in there. So it's not intended to be a cap on that. And I think that's what you were asking. Just to make sure.
Or just, because I had been privy to some of the conversations that had happened at PCDC. And at one point it was like, if you had taken out however many trees, you have to replace them with a certain number of trees. And it looks like to me, and I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly, that it's dependent on the lot size, how many trees need to be present on that lot
Correct.
when construction finishes.
Is complete. Correct.
Regardless of how many trees have actually been removed.
Correct.
Okay,
So, and it would be the latter, like you had noted.
okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Question on the replacement. So, if typically tear downs take up a much bigger footprint than the original house, and the backyard tends to be pretty small in a lot of cases. So I think sometimes it may not be possible to replace the trees on the property. What happens in those cases?
It's a good question. And we kind of struggled with that. And there was the various discussions that took place at the commission level. Again, there's an opportunity to do an alternative, on the site as doing like some rainscaping in consideration. There's also an opportunity to look at like the commission has some authority to grant some type of waiver, but up to a certain point in there. I think we looked at the various sizes. We looked at applications that have been submitted and looked at our setbacks that are in place. And we think they were pretty reasonable. I think that, I could never promise you that there would not be one that pops up, but I think most of them would fall in would be accommodating for that, or else there's something unique to that space. But then that led to the broader discussion. I won't go into there, but as the city looks at, whether it's preserving trees or looking at the ordinance more holistically, that will probably have to be balanced with some of our floor area and site coverage items to make sure that these things are working together in there. So instead of trying to get into this broader thing of reassessing site coverage and footprints and all that, these were pretty comfortable that they would work in there, and that there isn't sufficient opportunity. We looked at a lot of, Harvest, Cherry Tree, up on Hillendale and not Hillendale, Hilltop and Collingwood, and how those scenarios would work in there. And we feel pretty confident that these, well, and I don't want to say that, these are minimized, but that these would provide a pretty good balance in there.
I just wonder if maybe as a backup, if that's not possible, could the homeowners supplement a tree to be planted somewhere else in the city? Is that a whole nother?
Yeah, yes. And there, it's a good question. It was a question that was brought up by the commission. They kind of talked about that in there. And I do foresee that might be one, whether that's in the next step or not. It wouldn't be authorized in this process.
Okay.
But they would, to get that implemented, again, it gets beyond just chapter 400 in there. It's probably going to impact other components of the code.
Mr. Trejo, would an applicant also be able to go to Board of Adjustment?
Yeah, they could try to request a variance, but again, by providing that variation component, we try to minimize that because the application of the hardship would be tough. So.
Okay, thank you.
At this point, is there anyone in the public who would like to speak at this time? Okay. Please state your name and address, please.
Hi, Stephanie Todd, 7 Heather Hill Lane. I would just like to offer my support for this ordinance. PCDC has worked really hard on this. They've been through a lot of iterations. They took a lot of public comments and they really did a good job listening to the public and had some really good discussions on the comments. And I think Carlos said, that it's, I think you said it's not perfect, or it might, need some, I guess I'm asking the council to not wait until it's perfect. What is the saying? Perfect is the enemy of good enough, because we really need to get this on the books. I guess maybe the one addition though, I mean, Kate and Mike made some really good comments, and I would like to see though, like the sign on the protection zone. And to me, that would be an easy thing to add, for the next public hearing, because it is really important that like big equipment and stuff isn't on tree roots, because that'll kill them. So yeah, I'm just hoping that I would like the city council to approve the ordinance.
Do we have someone else?
Hi, my name is Susan Colhagen. I live at 27 Forsythia Lane, and I work with a group here on the leadership team of something called Olivet Sustainability Advocates. And we've been very interested in this topic for the last 2 years and encouraging PCDC to move forward. We have about 100 people on our mailing list. So, and many of them, not many of them, but quite a few of them have been at various meetings over these year and a half since you all have been working on it, and being supportive of moving this forward. So we all know that a canopy is very important for physical and mental health. There's a lot of data out there about that. Health, the oxygenation and pollinators and all the good things that these trees are doing, providing shade, which helping the climate, water management, and then the beauty of our community. So we really hope that you'll move forward. And like Stephanie just said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Things can be amended later, but to have something basic, we're in favor, and I'm in favor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else on the council or any audience that would like to speak?
Just one other quick question, Mr. Trejo. Or who is responsible for the fencing and the signage? Is it the contractor or the city?
Oh, no, it would be the developer contractor, ultimately whoever submits the application for the construction.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. One quick question, just for clarification. So, and those changes that have been noted, would that be in the form of an amendment, or is that an amended draft that would be submitted at the next meeting, just for the.
Thank you. I would suggest that you go ahead and prepare an amended draft. And then if there's any changes to the ordinance itself, then they could make a motion to amend at the next meeting.
I would be in support of Kate's recommendation of having signage on the fences. I think was really the main one.
So we'll include the two items regarding the canopy, refinement on the definition, and then along with the signage.
I support it as well. I think it's a smart move.
And I
you.
don't know if canopy needs to be added into the definitions or just clarified in
Just, I
that
think,
particular
we'll take a look at it.
instance. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
All right. This public hearing is now closed. The second reading for this bill will be conducted on September 9th. Right now, we'll go to communications. Are there any communications to share?
I have no written communications.
Okay. Right now, we'll go with our city manager's report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Couple things to talk about this evening. First of all, last week, you may have gotten an email from the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis. There was a select committee of Missouri House members. They have been holding public meetings throughout the state. They're hearing testimony from their constituents about property taxes and people's comments on property taxes and how to make property taxes more fair. So it was held in the center of Clayton here in the St. Louis area. It was standing room only. And I learned something. You're actually not allowed to stand at an actual congressional committee meeting, but they made an exception because there just weren't going to be any more chairs that were going to be able to fit in the room. Their meetings in Lebanon took 5 hours. Meeting in Kansas City took 4.5. They had a hard stop at the center of Clayton at 9 o'clock. So the meeting was 3.5 hours. They have posted it to their YouTube channel. So if you'd like to follow the QR code, you can certainly listen to the 3 hours of testimony. When I was there, I did not stay for the whole 3 hours. I stayed for about the first hour, and then they took a break. But the St. Louis County Assessor, Jake Zimmerman, spoke. County Executive Steve Ellerman for St. Charles County spoke. The Mayor of St. Anne spoke, and then a couple residents of the region spoke within that first hour. And so a lot of the comments were about assessments and how assessments are done. I did learn that in St. Louis County and 3 other counties in the state, St. Louis City, St. Louis County, I think St. Charles County, and maybe Jackson County, they have a law that when you sell your house, that sale price actually goes to the assessor, and they use that actual sale data as part of their evaluation for your assessment. And the thought is you don't know how much your property is actually worth until you know what somebody is going to, buy it for. So they're using that actual data as part of their assessment. And it doesn't happen that way in the rest of the counties in Missouri. Those assessors talk to local realtors and local brokers and have their own formula. So there is some thoughts about how that's not, those two disparate methods are not equal throughout the whole state. So there's no indication what this committee might put forward as far as legislation the next time the legislators meet, which will be at the end of this year. But I did want you to know that if you are interested in watching, you certainly can. The QR code is available. And I did attend just to see what people were talking about. And most people were concerned about their assessments. So next, We do have 2 commission seats open on the pension board. We did have had at least 1 applicant. So we are looking for anyone else who is interested in sitting on the pension board. You do not have to be in the financial sector to sit on the pension board. So we would certainly be interested in anyone who would like to join us. Oops. Battle of the Bands, Battle of the Badges. Actually, I guess you guys could have the bands there as you give blood. But Battle of the Badges is a blood drive. This is the 6th year that we have done that. It is a friendly competition between the city's fire department and the police department. But it is a community blood drive here at Olivet City Center on September 4th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And individuals who donate blood are allowed to vote for either the fire department or the police department. And so the department that gets the most votes wins. So we encourage everybody to come out and give blood. And then the next is Trivia Night at Five Oaks in celebration of 60 years of our Parks and Recreation Commission. So it is September 6th. It is trivia through the decades. As of this morning, there were 11 tables that have been sold. The City Council is going to have a table as well. So we invite everyone to come out, get your closest 7 friends who enjoy trivia, and come out for that evening. Coffee with the Mayor is September 10th, again at Five Oaks at 8:30 in the morning. We'll have Lieutenant Garrett Wood. He's going to talk about his crisis intervention team. This is all of our police officers get crisis intervention training, but Officer Wood has put together a volunteer team of police officers that check on some of our residents who they just struggle sometimes with their mental health, and we have found that with some consistent, just checking in on them, seeing how they're doing, is very helpful. So he's going to talk about that training and that program that he has. And then the Olivet Fall and Winter Activity Guide hit the printers and should be hitting your mailboxes soon. If you would like to see a sneak peek, you can certainly follow the QR code because it is online and folks have been finding it, but it has all of the activities through the fall and winter this coming year. It's 28 pages long, so it is chock full of all kinds of activities for all ages through the city. And then, of course, we have our signature event through the year is Turkey Trot on Thanksgiving morning at Stacy Park. So we encourage everybody to register. I think as of this morning, we had 55 folks already registered. So if you register before October 18th, it's early bird registration for adults and kids. And then after October 17th, so starting October 18th, it is regular pricing. They are again having the tiny trot for the kids that are under 5. That of course is free. And then again, as in years past, all of our proceeds are going to the Harvey Kornblum Jewish Food Pantry. And this has been a particularly difficult year for all food pantries. And so we are running a food drive right now. We've been doing it since registration opened at the beginning of the month. So you'll see the Blue Barrel here at City Center, and there's a Blue Barrel up at Five Oaks. So if you would like to put any type of shelf-stable food in those bins, we will get those dropped off at the food pantry ahead of Turkey Trot, because we just know that the need is great, and many food pantries in the area got cut. Their funding was cut. And so we're trying to help them restock their shelves so they can assist as many people as possible. And then I would encourage anyone to sign up for Olivet Weekly. This is our weekly newsletter that comes out with all kinds of things going on in the city. And then lastly, your upcoming meeting dates. And I would note that City Center will be closed September 1st for Labor Day, but Five Oaks will be open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on that day. Any questions? Okay.
Okay, so in this point, we're going to our staff reports.
All right, staff reports, starting with the fire department. They have been doing advanced medical life support training for all of the crews. In fact, they did some of that yesterday and today. And this training covers a whole variety of things. It includes hands-on training and simulated scenarios, everything from respiratory and cardiovascular issues to neurologic disorders and mental health. And then in this particular class, they specifically focused on seizures and epilepsy. So they have gotten some additional training on that. The Parks and Rec Department, the doors at Villa, the restrooms, they needed to be replaced. And so they have gotten stronger, more durable doors. So if you go to the restrooms at Villa, you will see those. They also are starting to put the no bicycle medallions on the non-paved trails. So that's in response to the ordinance that the council passed recently. And then also at Villa, some limbs on this very large tree came down. And so it took not only the help of the parks crew, but also the public works staff assisted the parks crew in cleaning that up and taking those limbs away and restoring the park. For planning, this is Lot 3. They are continuing to move along with Lot 3. You can see some drone footage from June 25th through July 12th. And in fact, we haven't gotten the drone back up, but if you've driven by, they are certainly moving forward, and they are working to put the dividing walls up between the tenant spaces. And planning and building staff have been working with the proposed tenants, Brass Taps, Paris Baguette, and Tropical Smoothie, to get their permit plans in and reviewed so that when the shell of the building is ready to go, that their permits are ready to be issued and so that they can do some construction. So we appreciate the coordination that building staff have been doing to try and continue to keep that project moving forward. And I would also just mention that the plans for Lot 5, which is the hotel, have come in. They came in last Friday, so they are ahead of schedule. There were one or two things that were missing, but that is not unusual for any type of submission. But they are in, and planning staff is going through them as we speak. So that is that's a good sign. The police department, this program is something that the police department, Lieutenant Wood, in fact, started last year, and it has become very popular. In fact, a number of other cities and school districts are reaching out, and it is what happens in a traffic stop. It's designed for new drivers. So there's a little bit of coursework that happens, and then they take the participants out on the parking lot, and they, with no driving of vehicles, but they do simulate a traffic stop. I mean, I remember the first time I was pulled over and I, didn't know what to expect. And so I think it's a really good just presentation of what to expect should you ever be pulled over. And again, like I said, it has become very popular. It is open to any member of the public. You do not have to be a resident of Olivet. So if you know any young drivers who could benefit from this, please let them know. It'll be September 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. here at City Center. And then Public Works, this is just kind of orient you. This is Alice, and this is the side of the Public Works building. Public Works has started working on the Community Development Block Grant project, which is the Alice Place and Hilltop sidewalk improvement. So this will be a portion of sidewalk that connects and goes in front of the Irvington Place, which is the construction project there, and then allows for some crossing and crosswalks, safe crosswalks at Hilltop. So Public Works has started to do that. We originally had envisioned having a contractor do it, but when we put it out to bid, those bids came back significantly higher. And so we worked with the St. Louis County, who administers the CDBG program, to do in-kind work so we can get reimbursed. And then if whatever parts we can't finish, then we can more narrowly define a scope and ask a contractor to do rebid and ask a contractor to do. So we wanted to get this project started. It's timely with the construction of Irvington Place. So that is what they're working on. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Okay.
Okay. At this time, we'll have our financial report by Mr. Mann.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. We have our 1 month financial report for the month of July, and there's not much to report there. Revenues are a little bit ahead of where we kind of thought they would be, and then the expenditures are also a little bit ahead. But again, as we often face, there's a timing of some of our insurance payments that plays a lot into that with the expenditure side. So sales tax did start up as a category as a whole, but the increase in the, I guess, positive variance is more to do with kind of one-time one-time items that showed up inside of the sales tax reports. All good news, but nothing that you could maybe expect to go forward for 12 months straight. Property taxes, slow as expected here until December. The November bills show up and we begin collections there. Utility tax collections in July, slow. Usually we'll see a big upswing through heat in June. We'll see July collections up, but June was wet and it was chilly. So we didn't use, most people didn't use a lot of water for their yards, and we didn't use air conditioning. Parks and Rec. Membership still lagging behind. Soccer brings everything back up. A really good soccer registrations. Everything else, we begin the year kind of mixed as they usually do. Nothing special to report. Again, 1 month, it's hard to see any trends, but nothing scary showing up. Let's go to our chart, and we do have a really boring electric chart. You can see the top one. This is how they go over the last 7 years. It starts the fiscal year real high as air conditioners heat is there. And then the lower one is a more interesting chart. It kind of put together to what we see here is the money we collect, 10% gross receipts tax on the left. On the bottom is the temperatures. And you can see there's a very strong correlation on a polynomial order of 4 scale there. You can see we can predict pretty good based on the temperature what we're going to collect. The problem is we only get about a month ahead of time of so that we get the temperatures, then we get usage, and then we get collections and billing. So it doesn't prove very good for budgeting. You get like 1 month, but it's kind of an interesting chart put together. I will say there's one weird thing that shows up in this, and that's at 70 degrees. In May, 70 degrees is really hot. In September, 70 degrees is really nice. And so we don't collect very much in September 70, but in May 70, we do collect a little bit more. That's the only kind of outlier in that. And as the temperatures go down, our usage goes up as we use those space heaters. So with that, I don't have anything else. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the council? Mr. Mann, thank you very much, sir. All right, now we'll have our city council reports, and I'll start to my right with Mr. Solomonov.
No report for today.
Okay, Kate Pishon-Hillman, please.
So I went to the August 20th Parks and Rec meeting, and TJ Beasley shared some really interesting results that they did from a survey of their members and non-members just kind of assessing what they are liking and what they would like to see at Five Oaks. And they've already made some adjustments to their classes to kind of accommodate some of the requests. And one of the biggest positives that came out of the surveys was that people by and large felt that it was a friendly, welcoming staff and a clean facility. The parks also received a recycling grant to purchase new recycling bins for Stacy Park and some folding recycling bins for special events. And then just highlighting Harvest Festival that's coming up on Saturday, October 25th. And some just recent changes to that where there will be an admission fee for children, which is how Boo Bash used to function years ago. And that just helps to cover the costs of putting this Harvest Festival together.
And I
Members-
think the little kids also get a little meal too,
That
right?
is right. Yeah, yeah. So they get a meal that goes, it's not just admission. Yeah, it's a meal. And if you've been to Harvest Festival before, you know that there's lots of great activities and an abundance of candy and popcorn and all kinds of good stuff. It's well worth the $10 per child. And that's the early registration fees. Also, the soccer numbers were mentioned earlier, but there's 1,100 kids that are playing soccer, which is huge. A really great turnout for that. And then I also attended the Economic Development Commission on August 25th. And at that commission meeting, Dawn, our queen of data, provided some sales reports from the plazas and shopping centers in Olivet. And I think it was really interesting information to see. So if that kind of stuff interests you, that meeting is recorded. You can go back and see. There was some discussion about potentially offering the dining guide. There's a map that Dawn has created that highlights all the restaurants in Olivet. It's a really helpful thing that lives on our website, but there was some conversation about pushing that dining guide out further, whether in the newsletter or to the apartment complexes, to just kind of help promote our restaurant businesses and just help people know what's out there. And then finally, at the Economic Development Commission meeting, there was some discussion about the commission in a future meeting to review the 2020 business communications plan and identify what priorities they want to continue to focus on for that. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Did you guys talk about in the Parks meeting when the new goals are gonna be coming in for soccer? Did that come up?
It did come up there. It's still not. Do you have more data on that,
I think
Jennifer?
they're targeting mid-September.
So that's after the soccer starts.
Yes, they expect it
Okay.
will be after soccer starts. Believe me, they all want them here as soon as possible. They have done some adjusting to the schedules to accommodate. Believe me, I think as soon as they get here, they will be put together and put to use.
Right.
Okay.
We'll have an assembling party. I did not attend any meetings since the last meeting.
I did attend the Housing Authority's meeting earlier today. They really just assessed the financial health of the group and future projects after they did a audit by an independent accounting firm. It showed that the organization is in really good financial health. I have nothing else to report at this time.
I have one more thing.
Oh, we have one more thing coming from Councilmember Kate Pishon Hellman.
Sorry, I also attended with Mayor Clark and Councilmember Lewis, the Olivet Creve Coeur Chamber of Commerce meeting, in which our mayor did an excellent job presenting the state of the city of Olivet alongside the mayor of Creve Coeur. So,
Thank you for reminding us.
yes.
Okay, so at this point, we'll have our second hearing from citizens. So if there's anyone out there who would like to speak, please come forward.
Stephanie Todd, 7 Heather Hill Lane. I attended the last PCD meeting and found out that if you are putting solar panels on your house and they're on more than one area of your house or your roof, that then it has to go to PCDC for approval. And if it's just all on one big surface, it doesn't. And talking to Carlos about this, it's my understanding that the city council asked PCDC to take this additional approval step. I don't know when they asked him. There's no so the builder or, whoever, the solar contractor still has to get electrical permits. He has to get a building permit, has a building inspection. They make sure all the requirements are met. So I don't know why PCDC is reviewing it. And this is a problem. And I'm asking the city council to remove this extra approval by PCDC like immediately, because there's a federal tax credit for solar panels that expires at the end of the year. We're hoping, we're planning, we might get solar panels. They're all backed up. There's no guarantee anymore that you'll get solar panels installed at the end of the year. And adding a potential 2-week delay for no value added is just, I don't know why we're doing this. So to me, this is a really urgent issue that needs to be addressed as soon as possible, because I'm sure I'm not the only Olivet citizen it affects. And I should add that I happened to find this out because a house on my street was having solar panels installed, and it came up. And anyway, I would just like to say that I'm sure this affects multiple Olivet citizens. And it also fits into our strategic plan with the trying to make sustainability of the community. We want to encourage solar panels, not put up extra needless roadblocks. Thank you.
Susan Colhagen, 27 Forsythia, and I'm gonna be in support of what Stephanie was just saying, because she made me aware of that particular step, and I agree, especially considering that we're losing these credits at the end of the year, that anything we can do to streamline it for people. And we know that decreasing your energy usage and decreasing fossil fuels is environmentally smart and sustainably smart. And so anything I can do to help citizens move in that direction, if that can be removed, I'm backing her. Thank you.
All right, we're going on to item number 9, which is bill number 3051. Can we please have that title read?
Bill 3050, an ordinance to amend Chapter 500 Building Regulations, being part of Title 5 Building and Construction of the Municipal Code of the City of Olivet, adopting a new Article 2 General Provisions. Second reading.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Yackley, Timothy Fain, the Assistant Fire Chief, here again tonight just to get the approval for the second reading for the fire department side for the code change for the corridors, to add the smoke detectors in the corridors. That's for reason I have added our information with Carlos and the planning department to add to theirs as one bill or one ordinance change amendment. So just requesting that for the approval for the second reading on that.
Just to clarify, the bill includes both the change for the fire code and the change to the building code, not just the
Not just fire.
fire department.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve bill number 3050, an ordinance to amend Title 5 Building and Construction, being part of the Olivet Municipal Code, amending Chapter 500 Building Regulations, adding a new Article 2 General Provisions, and amending Chapter 506 amendments to the 2021 International Fire Code regarding fire alarm and detection systems.
I'll second that.
Can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Pashon Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
The motion is passed. Bill 3050 becomes ordinance 2820.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going on to item number 10, request for approval to purchase 4 sets of structural firefighting gear.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name's Steve Carmen, Fire Chief, City of Olivet Fire Department. Structural firefighting gear is absolutely essential for the protection of our firefighters as they work in hazardous environments. The special gear provides a critical shield against extreme temperatures that can cause severe burns and other injuries, allowing firefighters to operate with reduced risk of harm. As part of our improvement plan for the fiscal year 2026, the fire department identified the need to replace its structural firefighting gear from 2013. According to NFPA 1970 standards, firefighting gear must be retired after 12 years to ensure the highest standards of safety and effectiveness. Fortunately, the city's procurement policy allows departments to piggyback on existing bidding processes, which streamline acquisitions processes like this. During the department's research into the RFP process, we discovered that Sourcewell, a respected cooperative purchasing organization, has recently completed an RFP specifically for structural firefighting gear. Upon review, our finance director carefully assessed Sourcewell's procedures and confirmed they closely align with the City of Olivet's procurement policy. With this opportunity, the department successfully negotiated with Sentinel Emergency Solutions, the local supplier, to purchase the new structural firefighting gear. The fire department is requesting approval for the city manager to enter into an agreement with Sentinel Emergency Solutions for the purchase of 4 new sets of structural firefighting gear with the total cost not to exceed $18,000. I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Do we have any questions from the council? We have one question.
So I see that the original CIP had budgeted 32,000 and that the firefighting gear here is for 18,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you expect that the difference there, that you'll come back for another request that fits under that line item? Or are you saving us
well-
money?
Well, I wish I was saving money, but not at this time. What we do is we reserve 2 sets of fire gear in case we lose a firefighter goes to another department, somebody retires, something like that. So if we hire somebody in, we need to get new fire gear, we can dip down in that account and get new fire gear for our new employees.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other question? Okay, go ahead if you have a question.
I don't want to make a motion.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the City of Olivet Fire Department to purchase 4 structural firefighting gear sets from Sentinel Emergency Solutions, cost not to exceed $18,000.
Second.
Can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Pashon Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Okay, so we're going on to item 11, which is a request for approval to purchase 2 Motorola APX 8000 HXE radios. Chief, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Ms. Yackley. My name is Steve Carmen, Fire Chief, City of Olivet Fire Department. In 2016, St. Louis County ECC purchased Motorola radios for St. Louis County Police and Fire Departments with tax-funded revenues. At that time, departments were told when the radios needed to be replaced, the individual entities would be responsible for those purchases and the replacement costs. The Motorola radios have a service life of 8 to 10 years. In December, we received notice from Motorola stating that they were no longer making parts for the radios that we currently have, and they have reached the end of their service life and will no longer be able to maintenance those radios. It is a goal of the fire department to reduce the number in our fleet of radios from 17 down to 15. So the fire department is requesting the city manager be able to enter into an agreement with Motorola to purchase 2 APX 8000 HXE Motorola radios with the amount not to exceed $18,000. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
We have any questions from the council?
So just to add a little additional context, in the same way that the fire department replaces a certain number of fire gear every year, they are going to be replacing 2 radios every year. They replaced 2 last year. Their radios are working, so we're just on this schedule to replace 2 a year and then continue that moving forward.
Understood.
Do you sell or auction off the ones that are being replaced?
No, we do not.
They're not usable elsewhere?
The radios are no longer
Oh, okay.
usable for us, because when you're inside a building like this and it doesn't work, they could be standing right outside the window and they can't hear me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the City of Olivet Fire Department to purchase 2 Motorola APX 8000 HXE, the price not to exceed $18,000.
Can I have a second, please?
Second?
Okay, can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Pashon Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're going on to item number 12, request for the approval to purchase an automated CPR device for the fire department. You have the floor, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Mr. Yackley, Tim Fain again here with City of Olivet Fire Department Assistant Fire Chief. Fire Department is requesting the purchase of a new automatic chest compression device, otherwise known as a Lucas device. For short, we just say, go get the Lucas with the fire department for us. Some of the advantages of utilizing the Lucas device is consistency of high quality compressions. All right, it takes the human error out of doing those compressions. We initially start it, but then we attach the Lucas device to the patient, turn it on, it does the manual compressions for us. That also then uninterrupted CPR during transport. We hook the device to the patient, the arms come up as such, and we hook the hands to it. It's a plunger, if you think of it that way, that sits there and goes on the chest. It's uninterrupted as we pick the patient up off of a backboard, put them on a stretcher, put them in the ambulance, take them from the ambulance into the hospital. Uninterrupted service. Frees up EMS providers to allow them to do other advanced medical, let's say give medications, put an airway device in, all right? Pick them up and move them again. It just frees that one person up from this. Improves the safety of the rescuers that's in the back of this ambulance. I can go from years ago doing CPR one-handed, holding on to the rail. Completely unsafe by myself, as well as Chief Carmen can say the same thing. Here, this device is, again, strapped onto the board, strapped onto the person, and your hands free now. All right, to be able to do other advanced life support activities. So we're asking for the approval to be able to go into the contract to buy with this device through Stryker, and not to exceed the funding of $25,669.76. That's just for one.
And this replaces the existing device.
That it replaces the existing device, which the arm is broke on it currently.
And this comes out of capital improvements, correct?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
It comes out of your capital improvement?
Yes,
budget?
ma'am. Yes, it comes out of 2 different line items in capital improvement.
And how long do these devices typically, what's their lifespan?
That is, we like to get 10 years. That would be nice. Again, it depends on calls, the volume of calls, and we do quite a bit of CPR on patients.
Well, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the City of Olivet Fire Department to purchase an automated CPR device, the price not to exceed $25,669.76.
Second.
Can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Fashawn Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. All right, this,
Yes.
I'd like to say it too.
Hopefully not too close.
Right.
Hope I never have to use it.
Not for personal purposes.
All right, so we'll have hearing from citizen part two. If there's anyone in the room that would like to speak, I don't see any at this time, and I don't see any on hold as well. So we'll go on to review and acceptance of minutes. Did anyone see any corrections to the minutes?
No, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as is from August 12th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Fashawn Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Okay. And we're on item number 13, the city attorney's report.
I don't have any report for open session, but I do have a couple of matters that I would like to address in closed session pursuant to 610-021 subsection 1 and 12.
All right, can I please have a motion to go into closed session for attorney-client privilege matters? Don't everybody jump at once.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session for 610.21.1 real estate matters pursuant to 610.2021.2 personnel matters pursuant to 610.21.3 audit matters pursuant to section 610.2021.17.
Okay,
Actually, may I make?
I think
just
I
a
did too
sugge-
many, right?
Yes, you did. Yeah, I would ask for that you amend that to attorney-client privilege matters pursuant to 610-021-12, and then also matters pertaining to a negotiated contract pursuant to 610-021 subsection 12, which is not on your agenda, but you can put that into the motion.
all right, this is
So
noted.
can I say the motion as was just said?
Okay, all right.
Is
Can-
that good enough, Jennifer?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Can we please poll the council? Oh, can we get a
Second.
Now can we poll the council?
Councilmember Fashawn Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Okay, we came out of closed section. No major decisions were made. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, so be it.